back to the Sports Rock Show.
Rock.
We're going to dive into the NFL a little bit. Preseason week 1 is already behind us. Heading into preseason week 2. RG3 looked very good, so did Luck. Mr. 80, give us your thoughts on what you took from preseason week 1.
Well, preseason as it is, a lot of learning to be done, a lot of learning curves to be done. You don't see everything you're going to see, and quite honestly, especially when we're talking about quarterbacks, lots to be learned, a lot to be developed. I thought both of them actually had very good games, which was to be expected, and I thought they did very well. I'd like to toss in one of our own, being that I'm a Cleveland Browns man. I thought our number 1 pick actually didn't do bad himself. A lot of learning curve here, a lot of things to be expected, a lot of things to be learned along the way, and quite honestly, a lot of
that's the second time now we pointed that out.
Keeping a lot of people healthy on your team is a key thing.
Oh God.
You have to be able to keep players on the field to develop a camaraderie with them, and especially with a quarterback. And that could be a huge problem with any one of these teams, quite honestly. So we'll see how that develops.
Mr. Becknell?
Well, it's hard to take anything out of week 1 when starters play a series, 2 series, maybe a quarter if you're lucky. I will say, as far as the Browns are concerned, because I did watch that game, just it's in anybody's case, just stay upright. These exhibition games, how practice scares me. Exhibition games scare me that people get hurt, and I know it just doesn't happen to the Browns, it happens to everybody. But the Browns don't have the depth yet to be able to withstand, and most teams wouldn't be able to withstand losing both your linemen, two linemen, a linebacker, a defensive back who didn't get hurt. He's probably going to get busted for Adderall. But
receiver going down with concussion again.
Yeah, on the first play.
Notable.
On the first play, and he's had concussions before.
Yes.
He had 2 last year, I think. So that's a big issue. Concussions are always a big issue. I wouldn't expect to see him back. I don't know. I might see him back by the last exhibition game. I certainly won't play this week. We'd lucky if he plays next week. Of course, the Browns are kind of in a precarious position because this week they're going to play their starters a half because the quirk in the NFL fucked up by putting them game 3 against Philadelphia in the so-called dress rehearsal game that they played 2 weeks for the first game of the season.
Yeah.
They should have played Philadelphia last week and played Detroit like in week 3. Then you could have had the starters play a little bit longer.
Yes.
They may be using this week as more of the dress rehearsal than any other game, simply for the fact that quirk with playing Philadelphia in week 1. You're not going to show them anything. Philly's not going to show you anything. So that's kind of a messed up situation.
I was very impressed with the way the Browns defense played. Even though
they couldn't stop the run.
Well, that's to be expected when you've got 2 green rookies in the middle. For the injuries that they sustained, I honestly was kind of impressed, to be honest. The offense, Colt looked pretty good. Colt looked pretty good last year in preseason too. So take that how what you will. Whedon made a very nice pass to Benjamin. He also got picked. Should have got picked once too. So I think there's a lot of learning for Brandon Whedon. I'm not down on him.
No,
at all. With Whedon, you get much crisper, much cleaner, much faster passes. The ball just gets there quicker. With Colt, there's a lot more air under it. They're a little slower to get there, which gives defenders a lot more time to react to the play.
But I was disappointed. I get the fact that we couldn't stop the run very well because we had Hughes and Wynn tackles, and they're both rookies. I get that. What disappoints me even more is we couldn't run the ball.
Right.
We do have a rookie right tackle, but everybody else is experienced to some degree. Now we didn't have Richardson running the ball, so but Montario Hardesty, if Richardson can't play week 1, and that's a possibility, Hardesty or Jackson or somebody
Somebody's got to pick it
is
up.
next man up.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But that's the same with any team. If Pittsburgh lost their starting fullback for the season, granted it's just a fullback, and most teams can probably replace those guys. But still, it's next man up. You've got to replace them, and then whether it's a rookie or somebody, they're going to have to fill the role.
You're absolutely right. The unfortunate part is Cleveland's got something like 15 injuries. They're all either starters or second string rotation guys. I mean, it's incredible the amount of injuries that this team is facing right now. And it really kind of, like we were discussing before, you can't gauge the job Shermer's doing based on, this season right now and continuing into the regular season if a lot of these guys can't play for a couple weeks because he's missing starters. You're talking about four starters on defense in Taylor.
Well,
Hayden?
Taylor won't be back until probably late October, November.
Right.
If he comes back.
I expect him back. I would expect him back.
You're talking Taylor. You're talking Hayden.
That's probably 4 games.
But
he'll be back. He's not hurt.
Fujita, Gokong.
Fujita would be back in 3 games. He was suspended. I mean, that's
okay. But Taylor,
Gokong is out for the season.
Gokong and Taylor half season at least. Gokong season.
Right.
Okay. Who knows? Patterson's indefinite. He's got an ankle injury or something like that.
He has a sprained ankle, I think.
So
I wouldn't expect him to play this week.
Right.
I would expect him back in another.
But this is a team that can't throw any games away, and already you're talking the first 3 or 4 are going to have to be throwaway games because half your defense is hurt.
Well, that's.
I don't agree with that.
And who knows what the real deal with Richardson is? Let's put it on the table. I'm not so sure I buy that they're just in there clearing up cartilage. I think he re-injured it or strained it or something. I think it's more than what they're telling you. If they were just cleaning out cartilage, he should be able to play preseason, right?
Not necessarily. If you have your number 1 draft pick that you moved up a pick to get, and if he has something like that, and if all they did was went in there and cleaned his knee out and that, are you going to risk screwing him up in practice or preseason?
But they could say he could play. We're not going to play him. From the sounds of things, he's not able to play until week 1.
We don't know that.
Well,
we don't know that.
They gave him 2 to 3 weeks probably. And could he play in the last preseason game? Maybe. Would it be wise to play him in that?
No.
Maybe.
Maybe for the fact is, do you want to get him in there and get a little action
and see the game speed?
Maybe even if it's a couple of series. He is a running back, so I don't think I'm not ready to say the wheels are falling off on that position because I think he'll be okay. I'm a little bit concerned about Josh Gordon not knowing how to run routes.
That could be fixed.
But yeah, I think if Cleveland feels they have a little bit of depth, it might be in the running back position with Hardesty, with Jackson, and with Obadiah.
Yep.
My question to you is this, okay, with Richardson. Are you concerned about somebody who's had knee problems at Alabama, has had his second knee operation since joining the team?
Well, I think
This looks a lot like Montario Hardesty, if you ask me.
Montario Hardesty blew out ACLs. This is not.
This is
No,
not
it's
an
not.
ACL.
But still, you're talking about somebody who's injury prone in college and has
Well,
already gone under the knife twice before preseason even began.
Well, he had arthroscopic surgery. He's never really been cut. He had arthroscopic
Oh Jesus!
surgery.
Now we're gonna do this?
Yes, we are.
Come
It's
on.
important.
He
I
had
think it's
surgery,
important.
regardless of if he was actually cut or not.
Well, you're saying he had surgery. If he had surgery, or if he had his tonsils taken out, you think he's out for the season?
He doesn't run on his tonsils.
I personally feel that so far at this particular point, this isn't the major issue.
What is?
If he cannot do anything until the first game of the season, I'll bank on the simple fact is the man's a fucking competitor and he's good.
Right.
And he didn't have major knee surgery at any point in time. No major knee surgery. He didn't go out an ACL, MCL.
He could have played this season without having it. The Browns decided to be proactive and get it cleaned up now so he could be ready to start the season.
Okay.
No, I couldn't agree more.
I don't like to see anybody have their knees scoped or whatever. Does that scare me as a running back? Yeah, a little bit. But if it was a torn ACL or if he had ACL problems like Montario Hardesty, he scares me.
Yeah.
If Montario Hardesty had to go out and have his knee cleaned up again, that would scare me. But Richardson, No, this guy's a warrior, man. This guy bounces back pretty good, I think.
And to come to this simple fact, we're talking the backs right now. You and I went to, 2 weeks ago, we went to see them practice.
Yeah.
Who I thought was impressive as hell then was Brandon Jackson.
Yep.
I thought he did very well. We don't have to. We have guys here that can't fall in line. They're not
translate on the field Friday though.
Well, maybe not. But you know what? They, like anyone else, it's your first preseason game.
Right.
Everyone expected Trent Richardson to be there the very first preseason game to carry his load for a little bit and go out. These guys are going to have to carry their load. I don't think we're hurting all that badly at that position that some people may think we are. If Hardesty and Jackson are healthy, we have, and you bring Trent Richardson back in, which I totally agree. Take this cleaning the knee up now and get it all taken care of. He comes back 100% healthy. You have yourselves a damn pretty good backfield there. As far
I will say this.
A good backfield.
As far as
season.
Yes, it is.
It's a marathon,
it is.
not a sprint.
And I was at camp again today, and Jackson and Hardesty both looked very good. Jabal Shear looked very good today as well. The reason why they couldn't run the ball, which is also a reason why Brandon Whedon had somebody in his space a lot, which is the reason why Colt McCoy had somebody in his space a lot last year, that offensive line, no better judging by the very first preseason game, and that's something that they have to improve upon.
Oh, hands down on that one.
They certainly have to improve
hands
upon
down on that one.
Well, you're going to hope that these guys, if we were talking about Joe Thomas having surgery, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
I do believe that the Browns will miss Chris Gilcomb.
I believe
Yes.
so.
Oh, absolutely. That's on the other side of the ball.
As far as on the outside, he was their best pass rusher.
Yes.
He will be missed.
Who's the other defensive lineman that's hurt besides Taylor?
Well, Ruben hasn't played. He's hardly practiced.
I think he's healthy though. Well, they listed him as having a torn pelvic tear. Okay, but I heard on the radio that he is ready to play. They're just erring on the side of caution.
And it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe he plays a little bit this week. Maybe he doesn't.
What happened to? They never said what happened to Fujita
No.
or Benjamin.
No.
We don't know what's wrong with them.
That's exactly right.
And I don't know. I didn't see Jordan Cameron get hurt, although he did more pads today.
He got hurt. He got hurt on that 40-yard catch or whatever he made from Colt. He landed on his back.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And that was on turf.
What about DQ52? Will he be ready to go come season?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
What's wrong with him?
I think it's his shoulder. A lot of the guys are just dinged up. That it's the first exhibition game. What's the point?
True.
Especially some of the veterans, like Ben Watson, didn't play.
No.
Some of those guys, they may see some action this week. They may see some action the following week. They may certainly see some action in week 4. But their goal is to get guys ready for week 1.
Yeah.
And if that means limited playing time in the preseason, then that means limited playing time in the preseason.
Right.
I don't think they should if they lose. Well, I don't say they're not going to lose them all. They already won.
But here's the key thing with the veterans. The injuries with the vets, they will step in and do their job as status quo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And quite honestly, me, as a coach and as an owner and as a general manager, my idea is this. I want them ready when we play that game that counts.
Yeah.
If they don't even play any of the preseason games, which was not a good thing. You want them at least in one preseason game if they're able to play, just to kind of knock the rust off.
Well, I think it's
But
important.
you really want them healthy and ready to go when season starts. Day one against Philadelphia Eagles, which is not going to be an easy task by no freaking means. By no means.
I think it's important. I think it's more important for the Browns this year for players, even the veterans, the Watsons, and that, to play preseason. Because of Whedon. Whedon needs to find a rhythm with those guys. And the only way he's going to do that is to play with them.
He could do that in practice, though.
Not really. Not like game speed. It's much different.
I agree.
It really
game speed is totally different.
Which is something that RG3 made a comment that I was impressed by. Well, I don't know. I'd be concerned if I was a Redskins fan, but he said that it didn't seem as hard as people told him it would be. He didn't feel like things were going. He felt like practice was much harder, and the game didn't move too fast for him, which is good. You want to hear that, but you don't want to hear him saying it's not as hard as people thought told me it would be,
Well,
because then
No.
maybe he's going to start slacking off.
but there's, if you went through injury reports on the other 30 teams in the NFL, 29 teams in the NFL, you'll see that Philadelphia, the team the Browns play, Vic got hurt.
Not really.
Well, he hurt his
fine.
thumb.
He hurt his thumb?
He's fine.
Well,
You
maybe
don't
he
know
is.
that.
Their backup quarterback is out for 3 or 4 weeks. Their backup quarterback now is a rookie. So,
Yeah.
and Vic is capable of getting hurt.
He gets hurt a lot because he
So
takes
if
shots.
the Browns would KO him early,
Yeah.
they're looking at a rookie QB.
True.
The thing is, every team is going to experience this.
Sure.
You're getting the bumps in the road during preseason.
Yeah, but it just seems like Cleveland experiences much more than anybody else.
Well, this
Yeah,
We have
ironic,
team
that's because
players,
you
come
see,
on.
You see that. If you
We're
if
more
you were an
aware
Eagles
of it.
fan, you'd say, Vic got banged up. We lost our backup quarterback. Who knows who else got banged up during that game? I mean, everybody's getting banged up. That was their first real contact.
Yes.
Guys hitting each other, playing full speed, because they're playing against some guys that, quite frankly, they're hungry to make a football
Yeah,
team.
they're playing for their
They're
lives.
going to be playing balls to the wall.
Oh yeah.
And
Balls.
the veterans are trying to get in and get out with getting some work in, and the younger guys are like, hey man, I got to make this team. I got to come up with a big play. I got to knock somebody. I don't want to say knock them out because
Right.
there's no bounties.
Anymore.
No, we got rid of the boundary.
But it's preseason games scare me. They really do.
Yeah,
Because,
they do.
Because anybody, football, anybody can get hurt on any play, man.
And then you also can lose players because of stupidity too, which Chad Johnson with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
He didn't even get injured, and he's kicked off the team.
Yeah,
so.
I think they expected Chad to help them a little bit this year.
Yeah, they're
And,
especially getting rid of Brandon Marshall. They're weak in the
Yeah.
receiver.
Oh, yeah.
He's out, and of course Cleveland loses Joe Hayden to Adderall, and I'm hoping that maybe he can work something out. Maybe his suspension is dropped from 4 to 2 or something.
Well, if I'm not
But
mistaken,
if he's starting
Adderall
4 games
is.
to it, Joe Hayden is playing. He's playing great.
Oh yeah, he's looking real good.
He played good in the first game what he played, and I guess in camp, yesterday in practice or whatever, he was all over the field. He had 2
He's
picks.
all over today too.
Well,
So he's playing lights out, but
one thing
have to do without him.
I heard about this Adderall deal is had that been reported to the league at the time, that wouldn't even have been tested for, because it is a prescription drug to be taken.
Well, it is a prescription
It
drug,
was-
but
but
it's
it
a
was-
commonly abused
I heard-
prescription.
But it was a
rumor.
drug. It was a drug, though, that had he been prescribed for him, had it been noted to the NFL office and his team, this wouldn't even have been an issue at this time.
I heard a rumor, now take it for what it is, it's a rumor, that he took it while he was in Vegas because he wanted to keep partying, and that was a stimulant that kept him.
Okay,
going.
well, that being the case,
That's a rumor.
It's
I heard.
also
That
something you
being-
can crush up and snort, and it will get you high.
that's being a case,
So-
though,
Because I
that
don't know if he's been taking it. I mean, if he's got ADHD or whatever, this guy's probably been taking this drug a lot longer than 2 weeks.
Right.
yes,
Yep. All right, that'll do it for this segment of Sports Rock.
Rock.
We'll be back.